Special down here at Birdland this evening. A recording for Blue Note Records.
Hey, I'm Jacob,
Hey, I'm Tyler.
and this is Think Tank. Today we'll be talking about the Salem witch trials and how hysteria fueled the fire.
We'll be using the play The Crucible as our reference for the Salem witch trials.
First, let's talk about what hysteria is. According to dictionary.com, hysteria is an uncontrollable outburst of emotion or fear, often characterized by irrationality, laughter, weeping, etc.
In the case of the Salem witch trials, a large number of people fell into hysteria, which is also known as mass hysteria. Mass hysteria, according to dictionary.com, is a condition affecting a group of persons characterized by excitement or anxiety or irrational behavior or beliefs.
And that is just what we have here in the Salem witch trials, mass hysteria. A whole village believed that their neighbors were conspiring with the devil.
This all started when the preacher's daughter of Salem got sick. Paris is the preacher's name, and his daughter's name is Betty. Betty's sickness had no medical cure, so Paris worried it might be witchcraft.
Betty got sick after Paris discovered her and many other young girls dancing in the woods. Paris's niece, Abigail, was one of the girls dancing in the woods. Abigail had drank a charm to kill her lover's wife.
When Paris caught them in the woods, he thought they were conjuring spirits. Because he thought they were conjuring spirits in the woods, Paris contacted a specialist in preventing witchcraft. His name was Reverend Hale.
Reverend Hale was very doubtful that witchcraft was present in Salem. He changed his opinion after seeing Betty and listening to Abigail talk about what happened in the woods. Abigail blamed their Barbados maid, Tituba, for witchcraft. Abigail said that Tituba forced the girls to drink chicken blood and that Tituba often sent her spirit upon her during prayer, which caused her to laugh.
At first, Tituba denies this because she knows that Abigail is lying. Abigail wanted Tituba to make her a charm because she wanted to kill her lover's wife. Tituba realizes that she will be blamed for witchcraft no matter what, so she confesses to Reverend Hale. But she then stated that she saw others working with the devil as well. She deflects the blame onto Sarah Good and Mrs. Osborne.
After Tituba blames these women, Abigail and Betty join in and start blaming other people in the town as witches. Betty's miraculous revival is evidence of the devil being released from her soul due to their confession.
This is how mass hysteria was created during the Salem witch trials. Hysteria was kept in Salem by a few incidents throughout the story.
One of the major incidents where mass hysteria was kept was when Abigail claimed that her lover's wife, Elizabeth, stabbed her with a needle using a poppet, which is a doll.
Reverend Hale went over to Elizabeth's house to question her about witchcraft. They asked her and her family why they were not attending church on Sundays, and why Elizabeth's husband, John Proctor, didn't have their third son baptized.
During their meeting, John Proctor says all of this a mistake. He tells Reverend Hale that Abigail had told him once that it had nothing to do with witchcraft. Then Reverend Hale was intrigued and asked if John believed in witches. He stated that he does, but his wife Elizabeth said she did not. Reverend Hale becomes very suspicious of her because she goes against the gospel.
During this conversation, people enter. These people are Giles, Francis, and Cheever. Giles and Francis are upset because their wives were arrested for possible witchcraft. Cheever is a court official and has a warrant for Elizabeth's arrest. He tells Proctor he has to arrest her because Abigail has charged her, and that Elizabeth hands over any poppets she has. Elizabeth had never had any poppets until that day when her maid, Mary Warren, brought her one.
Mary Warren was a witness to the court on accusing Mrs. Good of witchcraft. She said that she made Elizabeth this poppet while she was in court because she was bored. She was also sitting beside her good friend Abigail. Abigail later that night at supper stabbed herself with a needle in the stomach. This is when she blamed Elizabeth for witchcraft.
Cheever then took the poppet that Mary Warren had made and inspected it. He found that there was a needle stabbed into the stomach of the poppet. Cheever and Reverend Hale sees this as evidence against Elizabeth. They argued for a while over the evidence until Elizabeth finally agreed to go with them.
Another major incident that kept mass hysteria alive in the Salem witch trials was the invisible bird. The invisible bird appears when Mary Warren says that everything that Abigail has said is a lie. Mary Warren realized that these people were going to be killed because of their actions, but when Abigail saw the invisible bird, Mary's testimony was questioned.
The invisible bird Abigail saw was following Mary Warren. Mary and John Proctor say that she is lying about the bird. John Proctor even admits in the court that he and Abigail had an affair. Abigail refuses to answer the question, and Elizabeth was brought in to say if she knew about the affair.
Elizabeth lies about the affair to protect her husband, but it only makes him look like a liar because he said that Elizabeth never lies. Then Abigail went back to seeing the invisible bird. Abigail then claimed that the bird had come to rip her face off. She claimed the bird was Mary Warren's spirit. Mary Warren denies that her spirit was trying to hurt Abigail.
As Mary is denying her, Abigail and the girls in the court begin to mimic her. This does not look good for Mary. Once Mary realizes that she will die if she does not confess, she blames John Proctor of being with the devil. She says that the devil, John, comes to her saying, quote, "I'll murder you if my wife hangs. We must go overthrow the court," end quote.
John Proctor is filled with rage because of Mary's lies and her accusing him. He tells the judge that God is dead, and, quote, "God damns our kind especially. We will burn together," end quote. By this quote, John is telling everyone that if they believe these witch trials are real, then they will also burn in hell.
These were examples of when mass hysteria was used in the Salem witch trials. All of the people accused were accused by lies. The Salem witch trials has taught us that one small lie can grow into an unstoppable lie that spirals out of control.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and remember, go out there and be truthful. Don't accuse your neighbors of being witches. This is Think Tank, signing off.